The news that YNW Melly's trial is now going on has generated a lot of interest in the hip-hop scene. The Florida rapper, whose true name is Jamell Maurice Demons, is being investigated for the homicide of his two close pals. Recent developments in the case have revealed some horrifying new information, such as the fact that YNW Melly was seen on video getting into the vehicle that was implicated in the death of his companions. As a result of this proof, some rappers have responded to the issue, with some expressing their dissatisfaction with the scenario, while others have shown their support for YNW Melly. In the following video, we will investigate this situation in more depth and investigate the responses of a variety of rappers to the contentious issue that has been brought up. As someone who follows the rap music business fairly closely, it is difficult to ignore the current news about YNW Melly. As of late, the young rapper has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, as he is now being investigated on suspicion of involvement in the deaths of his two close pals. However, what precisely is going on with this situation? Reports indicate that YNW Melly, whose true name is Jamell Maurice Demons, and his companion, Cortland Henry, have been arrested and charged with 2 charges of first-degree murder each. The deaths of Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr., both of whom were close associates of YNW Melly, are the impetus for the filing of the allegations against him. Although the event took place in October 2018, YNW Melly did not report himself to the police until February 2019. Since that time, there have been several interesting developments in the case. Recently, the prosecution presented a video that they claim shows YNW Melly getting into the vehicle that was involved in the death of his companion. The footage was shown in court. In addition, there have been rumors circulating that YNW Melly's co-defendant, Cortland Henry, has been helping the police and may provide evidence against YNW Melly in court. It should come as no surprise that rappers have such a strong reaction to these events, given the level of mystery that surrounds this issue. Cortland Henry, also known as YNW Bortland, a co-defendant in the YNW Melly case and a close friend of YNW Melly, was questioned by federal officials in a new development in the case. Bortland is said to have informed investigators that he was behind the wheel of the vehicle on the evening of the shooting that resulted in the deaths of 2 of their mutual acquaintances, according to the reports. In addition to this, he said that Melly was not traveling with them at the time of the incident. This revelation is in direct opposition to what Melly has previously said, namely that he was there at the time of the event but had nothing to do with it. It is anticipated that the prosecution would utilize this new material as evidence against Melly in court. It is yet unknown how this will impact Melly's defense, as well as whether or not Bortland's testimony will stand up when it is subjected to cross-examination. This investigation has taken a number of unexpected turns, and it seems that there are many more to come in the future. During the course of YNW Melly's trial, the prosecution introduced a video in which he can be seen getting into the vehicle that was responsible for the deaths of his 2 close friends. The film was an essential piece of evidence for the prosecution, since it demonstrated that YNW Melly was aware of what was about to take place, yet still agreed to take part in it. The defense team for the rapper contended that he was merely getting into a vehicle with his companions and was unaware of what was going on around him at the time. On the footage, YNW Melly could be seen climbing into the rear seat of the vehicle, joining his buddy Cortland Henry, who was already seated there. After then, the driver, Christopher Thomas Jr., drove away from the scene with YNW Melly and Henry still riding in the back seat. After a few moments, the sounds of gunfire could be heard, and Thomas pulled over to make a 911 call. This video makes it quite evident that YNW Melly was aware of what was taking on but made no effort to stop it. The defense team for YNW Melly has taken a huge hit as a result of this film, which clearly contradicts their case that he was unaware of what was going on and that he had no knowledge of it. It remains to be seen how this may affect the result of the trial. Nonetheless, it is abundantly evident that this evidence will play a vital part in deciding whether or not YNW Melly will be found guilty of the charges against him. A number of rappers have gone to social media to voice their opinions on the topic in light of the widespread dissemination of reports that YNW Melly is suspected of having snitched in court. One of these rappers is Lil Durk, who sent out a tweet with the message "Free Melly" not long after the news surfaced. Others, like Kodak Black and 21 Savage, have chosen not to voice their opinions on the matter. The fact that a rapper does not make a public statement on a certain circumstance does not, however, indicate that they do not have an opinion on the matter. This is an essential point to keep in mind. It is obvious that this situation has inspired a lot of discussion within the hip-hop community, and it will be fascinating to see how it develops over the next several weeks and months. In the middle of the uproar that has ensued as a result of YNW Melly's case, the young man's mother turned to social media in order to publish a video on the messages that her son had exchanged with Chaser. The purpose of the film was to dispel any lingering doubts over the alleged snitching, as well as to demonstrate that YNW Melly did not work with law enforcement. In the video, YNW Melly's mother can be seen reading aloud texts that her son had exchanged with Chaser. In these conversations, YNW Melly and Chaser talk about their commitment to each other and their goals for the future. She also draws attention to the fact that none of these texts make any reference to working with the authorities in any capacity. The purpose of this video was for YNW Melly's family to defend him against the allegations that he has been snitching and to convince his followers that he has done nothing wrong. Having said that, it is essential to point out that the contents of this film do not necessarily establish anything with respect to YNW Melly's legal situation. The final decision about his guilt or innocence will be made by the judicial system. Despite this, it is easy to see why his family would wish to protect him and dispel any misunderstandings over his role in the investigation. Many people are curious about whether or not YNW Melly will ever be released from prison as we wait for the decision in his case. The rapper is presently facing 2 counts of first-degree murder charges, each of which may result in the imposition of a capital sentence. On the other hand, his legal team has been exerting a lot of effort to demonstrate that he is innocent and win his freedom. It is impossible to speculate on what the final result will be. Nonetheless, there are a few aspects that might play a role in determining whether or not YNW Melly is exonerated. The evidence that was given in court is one of the most important considerations. If the prosecution can establish without a shadow of a doubt that Melly was the murderer, then it will be far more difficult for him to avoid being sentenced to life in prison. The viewpoint of the general populace is also important. Throughout this process, a significant number of YNW Melly's followers and other rappers have shown their support for him, which has the ability to impact the decision of the court or the jury in his favor. Having said that, it is essential to keep in mind that, in the end, the decision will be made by the judicial system. Whatever the outcome of YNW Melly's case may be, one thing is clear: it has spurred a lot of discourse about our judicial system and how it handles young black males. This much is true. Regardless of whether or not he is released, his experience serves as a powerful illustration of the significance of having fair trials and being treated equally under the law. That's all for today's video, guys. If you like our content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, share, and hit the notification bell to get the latest news from us. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.